Hello, hello, and happy marvelous Monday, everybody. I hope that you are well. Hope that you all had a phenomenal weekend. My weekend was great. It was eventful, to say the least, from Friday up through yesterday. It was action-packed and nonstop, but it was well spent with family, friends, and loved ones. I had a chance to travel, went to the movies to check out one of the new movies that just came out, Fast and Furious. And many of you know that you've been watching me or you're connected. You know that I ride motorcycles. And so I absolutely love the movie. So if you get a chance to go to the movies, check it out. I promise you, you're in for a treat. Yeah, hung out with the family, the kids, the grandkids. It was a really great weekend. All right, so I'm back today, back on the saddle, excited to join you. And thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for joining me from wherever you're tuned in from. Let me know where you're tuned in from. Are you tuned in from DC area? Are you tuned in from Atlanta area? Are you tuned in from New York or South Carolina? We have people tuned in from all around the nation. All right. So just a little bit about me. I am Karissa Span, the landlord and tenant coach. And this is what I do each and every Monday right here on my Facebook or YouTube channel. I share information to help landlords as well as tenants. And so today we are talking about housing scams and how to avoid it. So do me a favor. Go ahead and hit that share button if you know somebody who is a tenant, or if you know somebody who is a landlord, tell them to tune in right now because it's about to go down. All right. I just want to welcome some of my viewers who have commented. Hello, Lynette. And guys, listen, if you have questions or if you have comments, go ahead and drop it in the comment section, and I promise that I will respond to them accordingly. I also want to say welcome. I see some of my students are tuned in. They're chiming in. So I just want to say welcome to my students. Thank you so much for that, Lynette. Oh, you love my shirt. Actually, it's a dress. So, you know, I'm all about branding and I represent the brand, but this is a dress that I'm wearing today. Thank you so much for sharing, Lynette. And I know that you're always tuned in from Charlotte, North Carolina, and I do appreciate you so much, ma'am. Hello, Derek. Happy marvelous Monday to you, sir. I missed you last week. I hope that you and the family are well, but I know that you've been taking care of business, Derek, so I won't harass you too much. All right, Lynette, listen, I see your comment. You said, please do a background check. Listen, we're going to get into that in a little bit. Hello, Mr. Ricks. Thank you so much for tuning in from Virginia Beach area. Virginia Beach is in the building. And so today, listen, today, I'm sharing information. I'm going to share tips for landlords, but I'm also going to share tips for tenants because I believe that an educated rental community is better when we all work together. All right. So go ahead and share that information, share the broadcast. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much. I do appreciate you taking time to tune in. I don't take for granted that you're here. You could be doing anything, but the fact that you're here with me today, I do appreciate you. So my goal and my mission today, I have one mission, and that is to walk you through the information I am sharing today. So whether you're a landlord or you are a tenant, my job and my goal is to make sure that the information that I'm sharing today is easy for you to understand. So again, thank you for joining in on the conversation or the discussion rather. So if you have a comment or if you have a question or if you want to challenge me, you know, put your information in the comment section and let's take a look at it. And again, thank you for those of you who are watching the replay each and every Monday. You can find me right here, like I said, on Facebook or my YouTube channel. If you are not connected with me on YouTube, go ahead and find me on YouTube and smash that like and subscribe button. All right. And I just want to say thank you again to all of you who are tuned in. You tune in faithfully. You know, this is what I enjoy doing. All right. So today I'm going to share information, but my first set of tips are going to be for landlords. All right. So as we're talking about rental scams and how to avoid being ripped off, here is what I want landlords to know and to understand. All right. So first and foremost, it's it's a business, right? And so many of you, you've been watching me, you've been following me, you already know and understand my philosophy, and it's very simple, which is if you treat it like a business, it will pay you like a business. If you treat it like a hobby, well, guess what? It's going to pay you like a hobby. And so today, I'm going to share information for landlords because I want landlords to be aware of some of the scams that are out that's going around, and I don't want to see any of my viewers or people who are connected to me or my viewers ripped off, right? So if I can avoid it, this is why I'm sharing this information today. So here's a number one tip that I want landlords to know and understand how to possibly to detect that it is a scam. The first thing that you want to do is understand that usually when it is a scam, right? Prospects, that means potential tenants, they have a difficult time, they have a challenge, or they are just not able to provide income verification. There are all sorts of excuses. They may say on the application or over the phone that they have a job, that they work, right? But they cannot provide the income verification. So whether they're working or whatever their income is, there is some sort of problem that prevents them from providing that verification. So here's what I do request. If I have an applicant or a prospect that's interested in renting my property, I always ask for 2 months of income. That's important because maybe they just started a job, or maybe sometimes when we can look at versus like 2 pay stubs or 4 pay stubs, sometimes 6 or 8 pay stubs, that would demonstrate the income, right? You want to make sure that people can afford to rent your rental property. So income verification is the most important thing. Do they have to work? No, some people don't work. Some people are self-employed. Some people are on fixed income, or some people may be in some sort of housing subsidy program. In any event, they should be able to provide income verification. All right, that's number one. Second thing I want landlords to know and understand is this. It could be a scam if your prospect, your potential tenant, is unable to provide residency verification. Okay, now notice I didn't say rental verification. I said residency verification. Here's why that's important. It is true that some people never rented before. So if you have someone that has never rented property before, they're not going to be able to provide you with a landlord's contact information, their name, the landlord's email address, or landlord's number, if they've never had a landlord before. However, everybody has lived somewhere, whether it was in a house, an apartment, on the street, in a shelter, in a hotel. There is always residency verification. And usually I request 5 years of residency verification, not rental, but residency. Some people have never rented before. Maybe they were homeless. Even if they were homeless, they should still be able to provide information to say, this is what my situation has been or was within the past 5 years. Some of my colleagues, some of my clients, they ask for 7 years. Me personally, I like to stick with 5. 5 represents grace. So I stick with 5 years of residency verification. All right. And third and finally tip for landlords is this. It could be a scam if there's some sort of extreme urgency that they rent your property. Like they just have to move in right away. They're willing to pay a whole year in advance for the rental property. But you know what? Here's the thing. I know that sometimes more money, more money, more money, it sounds good, right? But sometimes it could be a scam. Here's why I share this. And my students know I've had law enforcement to come into my class and talk about how people who are scammers, they pay all this money up front. They'll pay with the cashier's check. They'll pay for maybe like a year, right? They'll pay for a year of rent or 6 or 7 months of rent by way of cashier's check. So they move in, or personal check, right? They'll move in, and after that that first going into the second month, something happens. The money didn't clear. The money is not in the bank. And you can't get them out because now you signed a lease with them, right? So not only did they present a check that didn't clear, that bounced, cashier's check that was canceled, so that money never made it into your account. And now all of a sudden, you have a renter in your property that hasn't paid you. They're not responding to your calls. And in many cases, you must take them to court in order to evict them. So those are some tips that I do want landlords to know and understand. Those are potential red flags to identify if you are dealing with a possible scammer. Hello, sir. How are you, Mr. Ronnie G? That's right. You said all money ain't good money. You understand, sir. You understand. So listen, but I do have tips for tenants, right? Because the door swings on both ways, right? So some tips that I want tenants to understand so that tenants could avoid being ripped off. All right. I want you to take good notes on this. Please share this information. Usually, now there was a time, I think it was approximately for me, I was looking to rent, I think this was back in 2009 or 2010. So I was looking to rent a house and I came across this really nice property in Fort DuPont, Washington, D.C., had all the bells, had all the whistles. But here's the thing. I knew it wasn't real because I saw the listing in a real estate database. But then I saw a different contact information, contact number, landlord's name, email address, all of that information changed. All right, so here is what I want tenants to know, that sometimes scammers will hijack ads. So there will be a replica, or they'll duplicate, if you will, information regarding an actual property that's for rent. So in my situation, I saw it in a real estate database because at the time, I was a new real estate agent, so I saw it in the database. But when I saw the ad online, and I don't remember which website I saw it on, the information was different. The name was different for the landlord. The email address was different for the landlord. And then also, this person who hijacked the ad reduced the rent. So let's say the rent was $2,500. Well, they reduced the rate all the way down to maybe like $500 or $600. So that was like a red flag for me. Like, why would this rental property all of a sudden go from 2,500 to 500? Right. And so there's some other things that comes along with it. And hijackers, with scammers, like I said, they'll hijack the ads, right? They'll duplicate it. Or with the real estate listing, they'll change the information. They'll modify things so that it'll look similar, but it's very different. So please be careful with that. Secondly, I want tenants to know and understand this. You can tell that it's a scam when there is what I call ghost rentals, right? So online, the property is available. There are pictures of the rental property. There is a contact number for someone. There's an email address for someone, but the property is not actually for rent. And that has happened to some people that I know, which is why I'm sharing this information. So the people were actually renting the property and they began to receive letters, and people began knocking on the door stating that they were interested in renting the property that they were already living in. Like, how is that possible? Now, here's the thing. So whoever was responsible for putting that information on the website, they were asking for money up front. They were asking money to be wired. They were asking for money to be deposited into their account. All right. So double check. Make sure that you're checking the property. Make sure that you are speaking with someone. Ask if you can meet them at the property in person. Or since we are still in, we're in the pandemic and a lot of people don't really want to meet face to face, you can also do a virtual tour where they may send you a video of the property, or they will do a video, a FaceTime, if you will, Google Hangout, Google Duo, and other types of devices that they use to conduct these virtual tours. Make sure that it's actually done with the person. Make sure that if you're looking to rent property, that you actually see the property before you give up your hard-earned money, okay? Because like I said, sometimes they'll reduce the rent. They would make it so believable, right? That if you look at it and you're not really paying attention, you can get suckered in and have your money taken. But here's the thing. Once you give your money, whether it's a cashier's check, however you make the payment, once you make that deposit, it could be through MoneyGram or Western Union. Once you make that deposit, you cannot get that money back. All right. And so the third thing that you can tell could possibly be a scam is that they're asking or they're demanding that you wire money. You don't want to pay for security deposit. You don't want to pay an application fee. You don't want to pay all these extra fees and costs and expenses if you have not seen the property. Okay. You haven't even submitted an application. They're telling you to wire money because they're outside of the country. Right. So please be aware of the scams. Please be aware because as we already know, all money ain't good money. I know that's not the correct grammar, but you get what I'm saying. We understand that all money ain't good money. And so you want to make sure that if you are the person who's given the money, that you're actually giving it to a person that's going to rent to you. Okay. And if you are a landlord, you want to receive money from the best qualified person to rent your property. There is nothing worse than believing that you're getting into a contract, you're getting into something which is a good thing, only to find out that you are actually being ripped off. It's not a good feeling. And I think that many of you can agree with me on this, which is why I'm sharing this information, because it's so helpful to have information that could prevent somebody from going through this, or to help somebody come out of these type of situations. And as we are drawing near on the eviction moratorium, there are a lot of people that will be displaced. There will be a lot of people looking to rent. And so my goal is to help landlords attract their ideal tenant. Also, I'm here to help tenants avoid being scammed or ripped off. All right, so let me see. Hey, Lynn, happy Monday, beautiful. You said it is unfortunate that people are so dishonest. That is so true. Some people don't have a heart, Lynn. Some people don't care. And some people are not in it to do the right thing. And I almost ended up being scammed in this type of situation. And I know that other people have also gone through the same thing. All right. Hey, Kim, how are you, beautiful? Thank you for tuning in from South Carolina. So if you have any comments, if you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the comment box, because those are the tips that I wanted to share today. I definitely wanted to share information for the rental community, because I know that a lot of people we are in the renting season. All right. A lot of people will come into these type of scenarios where they could possibly end up being scammed if they're not careful. So if you have someone that is demanding money, if you have someone that is not honest, if you have someone that's asking you to wire, let's say, okay, so let me just pause here, because when it comes to security deposits, what I want tenants as well as landlords to know and understand is this: find out what the law says as it pertains to how much money a landlord can collect for the security deposit. Here's why that's important. Because some landlords will ask for maybe 2 or 3 or 4 months for the security deposit. In some jurisdictions, the law may state that a landlord can only ask for 1 month, what is equivalent to 1 month's rent for the security deposit, where other jurisdictions may say, yes, you can ask for 2 months or 3 months rent, or first and last month's rent. So just find out what the law says, okay? That's for landlords, and that's also for tenants. And so here's the thing: when it comes to the security deposit, that is not rent. All right. So if you pay 2 months of security deposit, you still may be required to pay 1 month rent. So know what you have to pay. Definitely don't make a wire transfer until you have a contract, you've completed an application, you've met with the person, or at least you have a virtual tour that has been conducted. You can trace a person. You have an email address, you have a telephone number, a phone number that they actually answer when you call. Okay. All of those things are important, right? They're really, really important. And like I said, I would really hate to see someone get ripped off because of something that they just didn't know. So this is why I share this information, because sharing is caring. So I shared tips for landlords, and I also shared tips today for for tenants, because again, I just want to make sure that the rental community is educated. So for landlords, understand and know that it could be a scam if they're not able to provide income verification, if they're not able to provide residency verification, if there is an urgency for them to rent your property. Those are signs that it could be a scam. Now, I am not saying, let me just say this, I am not stating that someone who is unable to provide income verification is definitely trying to scam you, but just be aware and alert, know and understand that it could be. So ask questions to try to understand their situation. All right. Tips for tenants. Understand and know that if these three things happen, that it could be a scam, where you see listings that are hijacked. It's not accurate information, or it's a ghost rental, or they're demanding money up front to be wired, right? And you haven't submitted the application, you haven't seen the property. So those are my tips. That's the information that I wanted to share with you today. I do hope that it was helpful. I do thank you so much for tuning in. This is what I do each and every Monday right here on Facebook or YouTube. I share information for landlords as well as for tenants. So please make sure that you are tuned in. You are watching each and every Monday right here at 7:30 p.m. All right. So just by way of announcement, next Monday, July the 5th, we will not have a live session. I will be out celebrating the 4th of July holiday. So there would not be a live on next Monday. We will follow up in 2 weeks on Monday. And I do hope that you have a great week. Please stay connected with me on social media. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the comment section or inbox me. Kim, you said you said in South Carolina. No, Kim, I will not be traveling to South Carolina this go around for the holiday. But I will definitely have you in my thoughts, okay, Kim, and hope that you have a great holiday. So I will be on travel. And again, I just thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching the replay. Hope this information was helpful for you today. Please share it with somebody else, because sharing is caring. And like I said, continue to stay connected with me. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. And I'm here to answer any questions that you have. You can also find me online. My website is landlordlife.com. That's landlordlife.com. I enjoy making a difference. I enjoy the time that we spend together, and I enjoy answering questions that you have. All right, so let me go to another comment. People using their corporations to rent for employees, but what happens if that employee is fired while living in your unit? Do you feel that this could be a scam? All right, so let me just break this down. So sometimes in these type of situations, and I do have colleagues of mine who rent their property through their businesses, okay? It is a business. Now, let's say something happens, Ron, and the person is terminated, they're fired, they're no longer working for the company. Now they can't pay the rent. I think in cases like that it could be a challenge getting them out, because you still have to take them to court. But I don't think that that's a scam if they are an employee, right? So, but if I'm not understanding your question, just go ahead and just expound on that or explain it a little bit more. But by all means, I don't believe that that is a scam, not to say that it's not a scam, because here's the thing, that people are starting to be more creative with renting in their businesses, right? So you have Airbnb, you have people who rent to, you have people who are starting more rental businesses, like creating group home type of business structure, right? Where they rent a property, but then they'll lease the property out to a program or to an organization that actually run the group home. So there are a lot of variables involved, and I don't want to say that is a scam, but it could be. I just haven't seen as much of that, because if it's an employee run, if it's somebody that works for the company, now all of a sudden they're fired, that could be a legitimate reason or an excuse, because, I mean, let's face it, people are losing their jobs, right? People are actually getting fired in the pandemic. Okay. So it does happen. So just be aware and know, But now, listen, if they are renting the property, they get in, they lose their job. You know what? If it's a scam, you have their information. An application should have been completed, right? You should have their information on file, their picture ID, their birth certificate, their social security card. So if that happens, worst case or best case scenario, just take them to court, have them evicted. No big deal. But I don't usually, here's the thing with a scammer is not going to give you their information, right? They're not going to give you their birth certificates. They're not going to give you their social security cards. They're not going to give you a copy of their photo ID, whether it's a driver's license or not, right? So usually scammers will try to avoid giving you all of that information. So that's why I don't believe that, it's a scam. But like I said, it could be. But great question. All right. So thank you for your comments. Thank you for your questions. I'm not going to hold you much longer. That is all of the information that I wanted to share today. My time is up, and I do thank you for yours. I hope that you'll join me not next Monday, but the following Monday, because again, next Monday is a holiday. Some of you I recognize are not celebrating the holiday, and that's quite all right. As for me, listen, I love fireworks. I think I'm the biggest kid. Listen, I have 4 kids and multiple grandkids, and I promise I'm the biggest kid out there when it comes to lighting fireworks. All right. So I hope that you have a great week. Be blessed. Please be safe and share this information. I'll see you all in 2 weeks. Thank you and good night.